everybody, welcome back to another Wind Down Wednesday with me, Janelle. Welcome back to mi casa, my maison. Anyway, I don't know if you've ever felt in life like you have a chip on your shoulder. Well, since this coronavirus pandemic started, I often feel like I have not just a chip on my shoulder, but a bag of chips on my shoulder. Like, I love these corn truffle chips, or even as much, these Kettle Creek salt and vinegar chips. Yes, I've had chips on my shoulders that have become chips on my thighs, chips on my tummy, you know, extra weight. So I want to talk to you about the quarantine 15. That I think almost everybody in the world has gained weight during this pandemic, okay? Now, I'm not someone who weighs myself. When I was younger, I used to weigh myself, and I'd be like, oh no, I gained a pound. And it would like bug me, and I feel like I gained a pound or I gained 2 pounds. And it would kind of play with my head a little bit. And so I decided one day, I'm not weighing myself anymore. I do not want to know what I weigh. I'm just going to go by how my clothes fit. Well, in a normal world, where I was going to the gym and running around and engaged in life, that worked for me. Then this year happened, and I tore a rotator cuff at the beginning of the year. And then in July, I tore 3 ligaments in my ankle. And even though I'm wearing these cute shoes now, they don't leave this apartment. Trust me, I couldn't walk around the streets in high heels right now. I'm still healing my ankle. Okay, so my activities were limited by the pandemic, by my injury, by the fact there's no gym, etc., etc., etc. And also, I've been spending the last 10 months in my Target PJs. And I'm not in my Target PJs, I'm in my stretchy workout outfits. So, keyword there is stretchy. Okay, so I didn't realize that I put on some weight. I had a doctor's appointment, and I was my yearly physical, and about 3 days before that, it was kind of getting nippy out. It was in like November, and I went to put on a pair of jeans, and they kind of like came up to like here, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? Started looking at my butt. I'm like, my butt is sticking out more than it used to. Like, what's up with that? I'm like, all of a sudden I had a Kardashian's ass. I've never wanted a Kardashian's ass. I don't think it's attractive. I mean, I like a cute little butt, but I didn't want a I just didn't. So I'm like, well, God, I have been walking a lot. Maybe that's built up my glutes. And I have this little tiny spin bike. It's not like the best bike, but maybe I've just been overdoing the physical fitness. That's it. I put on muscle. We all know that muscle weighs more than fat. Well, a pound of muscle and a pound of fat still weigh the same thing, a pound. But physiologically or something like that, the muscle takes up less space and so you can put on a lot more muscle mass on your body and be the same size, but actually weigh more. Okay, so I go to my doctor's, have my physical. I'm like, by the way, because when they go to weigh me, I like stand like this on the scale backwards. Like, I don't want to know what it says. I don't want it to mess with my head, I have friends who get so crazy about gaining a pound or 2. It's like annoying. Like, oh my God, I gained a pound. I'm like, there are bigger problems in the universe, okay? So I've kind of just done the backwards thing as the doctor is like, don't tell me how much I weigh. Now this year, because I felt like it's odd that those pants don't fit that have fit me for the last 10 years, I said to her, don't tell me how much I weigh, just tell me how much I've gained since last year. And she looks at me and she's like, well, you gained about 6 pounds. Now, we know the about doesn't mean, like, if it was like under 6, she would have said, oh, you gained, about 5 pounds. But the fact that she said about 6 means it was over 6, but maybe like not quite 7. And on my frame, I'm 5'4" and I'm small boned. 7 pounds on me is like 15 on a normal sized person. So I'm like, I guess the lack of exercise, the isolation, my friend Vino, and my good friends, salt and vinegar chips and truffle corn chips, not to mention the freezer full of ice cream I've got. Oh, and I love to eat cheese at night too. I've added to the quarantine 15. Okay, so now I got a dilemma, right? I want to fit back into my jeans at some point. I don't want to buy, I've got like 15 pair of blue jeans that I love. Why do I want to buy new jeans? I mean, the dresses fit because they're all cute and flirty and they've got room to grow, right? So now I'm having to try to curb my enthusiasm when it comes to my junk food. And you see I have these nice little bowls out here of healthy snacks. I've got almonds, pistachios, but I still have a bowl of salt and vinegar chips, just in case I need to have a craving and I need to have one. Anyway, I think we've all gained some weight this year, and a part of the weight is the weight of the world we have on our shoulders right now. It's not just the food eating problem, it's the fear of getting COVID, the financial stresses we've all, I mean, I can only talk for myself, like the financial stresses right now are huge. Future employment stresses, the lack of personal connection with human beings. These are all weights on our shoulders, and they are all like kind of chips on our shoulders, if you may. So my advice to you is think about what you're putting into your mouth, especially after 7 o'clock at night, after you've had a glass or two of wine, because then it's all hell breaks loose and everything looks good and you don't care what you eat, you just want to eat it, even if you're full. You got to tone those down, because at the end of the day, you know, there will be that time again where we want people to see our face and our bodies. Like right now, when I go out, I've got masks on, I've got gloves, I've got a hat and glasses. Like, I'm unrecognizable. Even if I saw a guy I'm crushing on, he wouldn't even know who I was. Yeah, he probably wouldn't recognize me anyway, so it doesn't matter. But pretty soon, we will be recognized again by the people who we care about. And we're going to want to be our best selves. So think about your health when you're stuffing your faces. Work on that quarantine 15 and put your effort into something more productive, like reading a good book. I recently read this book. It was a big flippin' book by Ayn Rand, The Fountainhead. Seriously, a very good book. It was 737 pages and I made it through them all. I felt like I accomplished something when I did that. Anyway, on that note, be careful of gaining too much weight. Remember, these are only temporary chips on your shoulders in life, and we will get through this together. And have a good Wind Down Wednesday. Glass half full mentality is always the way to go. I got Stevie Wonder playing in the background tonight. And if anybody, if you ever have a moment, think about a blind man did with his life. He had the courage to do what he wanted to do, and he didn't let anything stop him. Don't let anybody stop you. And don't listen to people who are negative. And even though it's a challenging time right now, always be positive, put a smile on your face, and a little in your step. And don't be superstitious. It doesn't get you anywhere. Remember, yesterday is a day that you worried about, okay? So it's here now today. Anyway, kisses. Happy Wind Down Wednesday.